Hey everyone, Alex here, and I'm here with the guys from Trek here. You might remember them from the video we did almost a year ago now, I think, and I thought I'd catch up with them here in Hanoi, Vietnam, because we were in Ho Chi Minh City before, and now they're living up here. I just took a quick trip up to chat to them and other teachers out here that came through Ninja Teacher. So yeah, how are you guys doing?
Doing well. Doing well.
Good.
Things are good.
Good.
It's been a year. It's been a heck of a year.
We haven't gone home yet. We're still living abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good success.
Yeah. A full year.
Benchmark.
Yep.
Nice. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that and what you've been up to. Talk a little bit about how you like Ho Chi Minh City versus Hanoi, and what you've been doing in the time that you've been out here.
So I suppose the biggest thing that defined our first video was how excited we were, because we were very fresh into it, and we were even in the job searching process. None of us were really even working yet. We're a little bit more calm now. We're a little bit more we kind of know what's going on and what we want and where we are. A brief, quick run through of kind of our history as teachers was we all tried to make online teaching happen. It's a bit of a rough patch there. We can talk about. Walker started teaching at a school.
Yeah. That was in about July. So we filmed the video in I think April, and then tried to make online teaching happen. I got a job in a school in July.
And now you're still teaching with that same school, you just moved up to Hanoi and changed branches, right?
Yeah, so I'm still teaching with that school. I just put in a transfer request. They've got campuses all over the country, so they just shot me up here. They had an opening in a center, and so that was super simple. Absolutely, I got a little weekend break, but absolutely no disruption in the flow of things.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. And then the rest of you guys you did eventually get online teaching going, and you're still doing a bit of that.
Yeah, so I guess right now we're in Hanoi, but we did spend about 9 months in Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City. Online teaching, I'll talk just briefly about that and my experience with that over the past year. And our experience was, we went into it what a cool opportunity. We get to work wherever we want to work, not tied down to a specific city. The struggle there was getting actual classes booked. That was really tough because you go onto these platforms, and there's hundreds, okay? I work for a company you've never heard of. It hardly matters, right? There are many, many companies you can work with, and I believe Alex can help people find companies for you to work with. But it took literal months to get enough hours where I was paying my bills. Looking back, I should have taught at a center while I began to pick up hours online, because I lost money the first couple months, and it absolutely didn't make sense. Now, the reason for that is, you have parents of students or schools, depending on your company, that pick you. And they pick you based off your experience on a platform and your experience in real life. Now I'm, 23, now 24, no real
Happy
teaching
birthday.
experience. Hey, thanks, man. This is my birthday the other day. Anyway, I'm 23, 24, and no teaching experience, and it took a long time for parents and schools to take a chance on me. So that's why it took forever. But now, I'm 8 months or 7 months-ish into teaching online, and it's very easy for me to get work. I can easily work 12 hours a week. And
How long did it take you to get to the point?
I guess I would suggest, first of all, working for 2 companies, because that it helps, obviously your exposure, because the company's the ones pulling in parents and schools that can potentially hire you. And so I worked for 2 companies, which helped expedite that process of getting enough hours. And it took probably, I want to say 3 months. Well, the 4th month I made enough money. The fourth month I got close to making $1,000 in 1 month, all online. So
yeah, and I guess that's something people don't really think about. They just think you could get a job like that and start making money. But I think if you teach at an English center, you're already getting hours right off the bat. So I mean, how many hours are you teaching at the moment?
So I'm teaching about 18 in class, and then total with commute and everything, I'm at about 25 hours a week of class, admin time, grading and doing extra stuff and commute.
I think we discussed it a little bit in the video before about you guys. You have this kind of goal of using teaching to make some income, and then also work on other projects on the side to kind of support yourselves. So I think over the last year you've been working hard at both of those things, and hustling to keep yourself going and working on that stuff. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about the stuff that you're doing on the side? That's what, like, your main focus, really, right?
Right. Yeah, so, we came out here with this whole idea is like teaching will help us get to the point where we then can switch from making money teaching to making money with our own thing, and we're at that point. We're almost at the point. I haven't taught in 2018 yet. Jason's teaching career was really only how long?
Like 3 months of teaching like 30 hours a week.
Okay.
And then a month of teaching like 6 hours a week, and now I don't teach anymore. So
Okay, yeah.
I got a saturated experience, and then I was
All crammed into one go.
Yeah.
And 30 hours a week is quite a lot, so
Yeah.
you're probably just like
Yeah.
dived into it, right?
So I'm like a lot of experience actually.
But yeah, so the Launchpad, it's served as a nice launchpad because we're
Yeah.
beginning to phase it out, and I think within the next 3 months, 4 months, we'll all be done teaching, and it has been a super awesome experience.
Oh, yeah.
I would stress that, like, and we stressed it in the first video even, like, that we're using teaching as a launchpad, but it's been important for all of us to consider and remind ourselves, and especially for me, that, like, while it is a launchpad and we are using it, like, we are affecting kids, and we are, we are helping them succeed in their own lives. So it's not like we've taken teaching lightly.
Right. Yeah, it was so sad leaving.
Oh,
like
gosh,
leaving
yeah.
my kids. My last lesson was a Christmas lesson, and so I was like back home in the U.S.
Yeah.
for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I woke up early and I was like telling them all this Christmas stuff, and I actually had a class, an online class. There were like 50 kids in it.
Yeah.
It was like a special sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mostly it's like one-on-one. And so after it all, I was like, "Hey, do you guys want to see my Christmas tree?" And everyone was like, "Yeah." And then so like I brought him over to the Christmas tree, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I was like showing him, I was like, "What are these? They're like presents."
Yeah,
And it was just like that was my last one. It was just like kind of a bummer,
Yeah,
like saying
yeah.
saying bye to everybody.
Yeah, I think as long as you go ahead and put your full effort into it, you can be a good teacher. If you get some good training through like a TESOL course, and you really make an effort and you realize that it's important to better the lives of these students.
Yeah, oh yeah,
It's so
yeah.
important to them. Then it doesn't matter if you do it for a year or 2 years, and you don't have to become a teacher for life, I don't think.
No.
And I think we're all examples of that, actually.
Yeah.
I taught myself for a while, and then transitioned into doing ninja teacher.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people like to do that, and then some people discover that they want to be teachers forever,
Yeah.
and really love it. And there's definitely a few people every month that I chat to that are like, this is what I want to do, So
And on that vein, I just want to say one more thing on that. Is like, we were just having a conversation a little bit ago about how parents here pay so much for these English lessons. Like for you, I mean, depending, I'm not sure like why you watching this video, why you're even considering, or why you're watching this video. Maybe you want to come out here and teach, but I would really just want to communicate like how big of a deal it is. Like, this might just be like your way to come out to Asia and live and travel and experience, but like, I'm getting goosebumps right now because like it really is super important for these kids, and their parents are paying a good portion of their monthly income for you to get the chance to teach them, and it is so cool to get the chance to do that and be a part of like how important that is, and there's some pressure there too.
yeah.
It's just not to be taken lightly. Is all I'm saying.
So what are you guys doing right now, and how's that transition looked into working on your own stuff?
Well, I've been. Oh, go ahead. I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, I mean, what Andy was saying is like, Andy's off teaching, Jason's done teaching. We are starting to phase out in the next couple months, doing our business. So we've been working online, doing marketing and support, like using different freelancing networks to build a client base, and looking into launching our own thing. So
we do digital marketing on Amazon.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, basically focus on the Amazon marketplace. But what I will say, to our point, and like our goal of coming here and starting our own thing, and we were so excited when we talked to you last. But the next couple of months were really like us learning how to work, and there's this thing of like, when you teach, there's this idea of like you work 15 to 20 hours a week, 25, whatever, probably not as much as you'd work in the States. And having all that free time is pretty hard because it's so easy to think you have so much time to do things that you just don't use all your time.
Yeah.
So that was something that we definitely learned in this journey of like doing two different things, is using all of your time.
How have you found you've been able to like motivate yourselves to keep on doing what you're doing and try and reach that goal?
I mean, I think a lot of it has come to the four of us. Like, you have three other guys that you're working with who are also depending on you, like, not being lazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, some days when it feels like you have the whole day off, but you know you have things you have to do and you have three people relying on you, that's a big one. And a big thing, I think, anyone coming out here to teach, you have to have something in your free time that you really like. If it's a hobby or you like drawing or something, you got to have something there, otherwise you're just going to waste away a lot of time. That's what I see with a lot of expat teachers happening. So
Yeah, I've always been impressed with you guys, just seeing like you're really using that free time. A lot of people just like to chill and go out and drink and you know, party a bit, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like use your free time how you like it,
Yeah.
but you do have that opportunity to really use that time
Yeah.
to do something cool if you want to.
yeah.
And I do think that there is a bit of value in like the teachers who go out and
For sure,
and
yeah.
drink and do all that, because you're having a lot of fun. But I do think that a lot of those people get a little introspective after a couple months of that. And
Yeah,
like, wait,
right.
what am I doing? And it's sort of, I've seen that with people and they're like,
Yeah.
holy, I'm not doing anything, you know?
Yeah.
And there's value in that.
And I
too.
mean, we were there.
Oh, yeah,
That
absolutely.
was when we came out here. Even when we did that first video, we were still pretty much in that vein of drinking, and we weren't. I mean, we weren't doing a ton of work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm glad that at this point we're kind of transitioning a little bit.
Yeah, there it goes.
Hey again.
When we were doing that video with Alex the first time, we weren't like working a ton, but I mean, we had just moved across the planet.
Yeah.
We're getting used to a whole, you know,
Yep.
it's not going to be a seamless transition.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
So how are you finding it now after like a year in Vietnam?
It's
You know?
surprisingly normal.
Yeah.
It's so normal. A lot of it always pops in my head when I get in a cab. And like we're driving and just like talking with whoever, and you know the cab driver probably can't understand anything you're saying, so you're talking about all sorts of stuff that you probably never talk about like back in the U.S. where people around you can understand you. And and I think about the first time we got in a cab in Govap,
Yeah.
and we're just like, oh my god, and there's like bikes everywhere, and you're just like, wow, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And then it's just so normal
Yeah.
now.
So what do you think of Hanoi versus Ho Chi Minh City? Because I get that question a lot because I've lived in both cities and now you guys have too. And I was talking about it a little bit yesterday, you know, talking about in my experience some of the things were like Hanoi feels like it's got a more small expat community, but a little bit more tight knit. It's a little bit more laid back here. You guys mentioned a few things. Ho Chi Minh City, on the other hand, to me feels a little bit more open to foreigners and Westerners. And but what do you guys think?
Yeah, I generally like Hanoi a lot more. I like Saigon as well, but I like Hanoi. It feels a little more laid back. Everyone's taking it easy a little bit more, and I feel like it's a little bit cleaner. But I think Ho Chi Minh is definitely the place to start because it's a lot more, I think, welcoming. Here the people are a little more reserved, which is
Yeah.
okay once you kind of understand how everything works and you're okay with it. Then Hanoi is really cool, but I like both cities, and the weather here I like it a lot better. It's a lot cooler, not so hot, not sweating every time I leave the house.
Yeah, I definitely like the weather too.
You know, one thing.
I mean, I'm so like white. I'm basically see-through. So the sun and the heat is kind of brutal.
One thing we talked about recently is like the pollution compared to Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi. And Jason actually mentioned that he thinks the pollution is worse in Saigon.
Oh, yeah,
like
I
he
felt
could
like it was
feel it
way
in
worse.
the throat.
Yeah.
But I think it's like that may be the case. But as far as like aesthetically, because Saigon is like it's something about the weather and like the
Yeah.
location to the sea or something.
Yeah.
The skies are clear and it's like not
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
like the pollution here. What you do have just kind of sits here, and we came here in the winter where it's very overcast and gray, and that doesn't play into it.
Seattle-like, just
Yeah.
always kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
But that's something that like I really have been missing. Like the Saigon, like
Your
just
vitamin
that
D?
vitamin D, just the warmth of the sun.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, but I have been enjoying wearing pants and like kind of dressing a little warmer.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've heard it's gonna get hotter here in the next coming months than it will be in Saigon.
Right.
Which is like,
Pretty wild, yeah.
you know,
It's interesting you said that about the pollution though, because like technically if you look at the readings,
Yeah.
Hanoi is usually higher than Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah.
But I
I
think
don't know where it
kind
would come from though, because I think it's so much better.
Yeah.
And maybe it's
I
just
think
like
it just
a seasonal
sits up there.
thing, or-
It never
maybe
comes down.
Yeah, I've also since I came here, I haven't really noticed anything bad. I think what you experience a lot in Saigon is like when you're on the roads and there's just all the exhaust
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
motorbikes.
yeah.
That's
And
what
when it's hot, it just feels worse.
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Saigon feels very, especially like traffic wise. I always make this when I talk about Saigon. I go like it
Yeah.
feels very crunched
Cramped.
together.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody's just. Whereas like here, it's more spread out. And even driving like Saigon, you get in the school of fish and you stay in your lane, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here, I don't trust Grab drivers here because
Oh.
they've got more room, they've got more freedom, so they move more erratically.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just gripping, white knuckling on the back.
Yeah.
I've had the most terrifying ride I've had on a Grab driver. One thing I want to say before we talk about
My
that,
grabs have all been okay, just so you know. Not all grabs are bad.
not all Grabs are bad, no. I just wanted to say about like city-wise, I feel like Hanoi has so much more character. Like, just like cool buildings and there's like trees like over all the streets. It feels more green. Like
There is more
Saigon is like just it feels
Concrete
very
jungle.
Yeah, concrete jungle more so. And yeah, I just feel like the buildings and there's more character and just cool little like niches you can kind of crawl into.
All that said though, I think I still like Saigon better.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I do. I don't know, maybe it was just because like that was like there's the nostalgia
Yeah,
there for
yeah.
me of like that was like our starting point and like finding all these like little
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
The people are more open.
Yes, yeah, I would agree.
People are more open there
I would
for
agree.
sure.
A big thing I find in Saigon is that there's lots of different groups of people, so you can always go out and like meet new people that you hadn't met before, and that can be amongst young Vietnamese people too, and like other expats and foreigners. Here, it's like there's the big expat community, and that's like separated from all the Vietnamese people a bit. Like last night at the St. Paddy's Day thing, it was just, I was blown away by how many expats, and most of them were English teachers that I spoke to,
Yeah.
were there in one venue. Because 2 years ago, I'd never been to a single event that there were so many expats in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also got the sense that like there were no Vietnamese people there, And when you go out in Saigon, you always go somewhere where there's like a mix of Vietnamese
Yeah.
people and
Yeah.
foreigners. And here, like that, it's almost like a little bubble that the teachers live in, which is it's okay. Like it's cool, but I like that about Saigon too.
It also maybe might have been a St. Patty's Day thing.
Yeah, like
That's
this is,
true.
it's a weird
Irish,
sample.
Irish
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, but I do remember that from my experience
Yeah.
of living here too. Talking about that a little bit, like, have you met lots of English teachers out here? Because I think in the last 2 years, the scene must have grown quite a lot. Because I'm pretty sure I'm meeting way more English teachers than when I was here 2 years ago.
I would say that we kind of have a unique situation.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, we have
We're a pretty bad
nobody.
sample
Yeah.
for that.
I'm
Okay.
the only one that teaches. Like I teach in a center, and we've
Yeah.
got there's like 15 teachers in my center, so like I meet people that way. But
And
other
the rest
than
of us
that,
are working 60 to 70 hours a week on our business.
Inside
so-
our house or in
Yeah.
a cafe
Right.
next door. We're not a good.
And my teaching coworkers are sharing pictures of their families on, like a group chat
Yeah.
online because since I work for an online company, they have like one of those water cooler chats basically where everybody just kind of like hangs out, like just for that sense of community and you're working for a company. And so yeah, my coworkers live all around the world.
Okay, yeah, I get that. But just from talking to lots of different schools and stuff, there's lots of new branches opening up in
Yeah.
Hanoi as well. There were like schools that were down in Ho Chi Minh City previously.
Yeah.
They're moving up to Hanoi now. So I think the scene is continuing to grow as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the school I worked for recently, they're huge in Ho Chi Minh City, but they're not very big up here. But they said they're opening 8 new schools.
That's
in
wild.
Hanoi this year. So
This year?
this year,
That's
I mean that's
wild.
what they said. I don't know if it'll happen, but
Yeah.
it's definitely growing.
Yeah, and I mentioned to you guys earlier that I know a school, and I spoke to this guy who was the head of their sales team, and basically they're getting all this investment into the school to grow it very fast. and then like a 5-year plan of just growing it hugely. And I think a lot of companies here have that kind of mindset of just like really growing fast and getting big quickly.
Really weird. I think Hanoi, in my experience, they're a lot better English, and a lot more people know English, which I thought would be backwards. I thought Saigon, because it's more open to foreigners and things like that, I thought they would have more English. But in my experience, it's a lot better here and a lot more people.
Interesting.
I talked to that Vietnamese accountant that I met at lunch that one day. The dude that studied in the U.S. Anyway,
A guy.
Anyway, talked to him, and I brought up that same thing. I was like, "What do you think? Is English better in Hanoi or Saigon?" And he said, "Oh, it's better in Saigon." I'm like,
Really?
but that hasn't been our experience at all. So I don't know.
So anything else that you've noticed that is like different between Saigon and Hanoi that you find interesting?
Fashion.
Fashion, yeah. People actually, like, I was just telling Alex about this. He's like, when I dress like this, t-shirt, red pants, like dirty shoes, back in Saigon, I didn't feel like I was out of place. It was just like another bum,
Yeah.
But here I'm like, oh God, like I'm in this cafe and everyone's dressed nice. And I'm like, yeah, people dress nicer here.
For sure.
I was just thinking about bun bo hue today and how I haven't had it. It's like a Vietnamese soup. It's super good. It's from the center of Vietnam, and it's all over in Saigon, but I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah?
I was thinking I gotta Google and find it.
The foods are very different. What I really love here is the bun xio, which is like the Vietnamese savory pancake.
Yeah.
And it's really crispy here in Hanoi. In the south, it's kind of like oily and soft. If you get it here, it's just amazing. It's so good.
Cool.
Another big difference is the fish sauce you get with like your like com tam type meals, your rice and other stuff. It's like, they love sweet food so much more in the South. And so the fish sauce there is very sweet. And here it's very like salty, and like I actually like it a lot more here.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
At least I've heard the palate is generally that way. It's
Yeah.
it's a little bit more salty up here, very much more sweet.
Going back to the fashion thing you said, what I've experienced is Hanoi, it's almost like this, people dress like kind of indie, like alternative looking, kind of cool fashion, whereas in Ho Chi Minh City, like when people go out on the weekend, like, Vietnamese girls will just wear like a fancy dress, and the guys will wear like kind of smart clothes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, almost like, how would I say, like trendy here, but like more classy there.
It's like a street fashion here.
Yeah.
Something like that. So what else do you guys want to add about life in Vietnam? What's the plan? Are you going to stick around here for a while and then see from there, or what?
Yeah, we're deciding that now. I think we're gonna probably bounce around to maybe Da Nang pretty soon, a little beach town in the center of Vietnam, and then we're looking at the next stop, a different country in Southeast Asia.
At that point, none of us would be teaching, and so we can kind of wherever.
Now you said you've got like enough teaching hours, like if you did want to just do that online and you could like make enough to live and stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could easily make $1,200 a month, which is like all you really need.
In Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
So not everyone is entrepreneurial, like I think we all have that in common, but I think a lot of people are just happy to get like a good job, have a lot of free time to do other stuff they enjoy. Not everyone wants to kind of sit 70 hours in the apartment working on a business. I know you're not planning to do that forever, but a lot of people like to have that balance of just working enough to live well. Balance. What is that? Online teaching is really picking up. So interesting. We kept coming back to that a little bit in this video. But if you guys are interested in doing online teaching, you should hit us up on Ninja Teacher. We work with some online teaching companies, so that's a good option. So anything else you want to add to someone who's thinking of like coming out to Asia to teach English and work on whatever they want to do? Any tips and suggestions or advice?
Do it.
Yeah,
Just get out and do it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be different, but in no time it's gonna be normal.
Yeah.
So.
That, and it's like, for me, one of the big things was when I was coming out here, I was like, oh, but then I won't be in my career and I won't be progressing my job. Like I won't be, and come out here for 6 months, you find out you don't like it, you can go back and the career stable job thing will still be there.
Yeah.
And so like don't use that as an excuse. And I guess before I hand off to the other guys, I would also say like ask us any questions. We do try to respond to our Instagram DMs with real advice and answers to questions. And so much like you can reach out to Alex or his team at Ninja Teacher, like we're a good resource too. You enjoy me, watch me play with my
I was
hands.
wondering what you're doing with your
Just
fingers.
doing some
Maybe
finger stuff.
rewind and watch it. He says that.
Super slow, man.
Anyway, but I guess you can find us. We have a YouTube channel, Trek Yeah. Just search that. We have Instagram, Trek Yeah. Those are probably the two channels we'd be most responsive on. We're not like crazy creators on YouTube or anything,
No,
but
definitely not.
we'd be happy to answer your questions though.
I'd also say, like, we're all young dudes, but like in our courses, there's there were people younger than me who weren't just out of high school. There were people 45-year-old, 50-year-olds who just wanted something new. So no matter where you are or what your situation is, like this is always an option, and it's a blast, and it's there for anyone.